Good evening, y'all. It is Tuesday, November 29th. Wanted to get on here and just talk to y'all a little bit. This might turn into like a slight venting session, but I'm going to try to keep this about locks, okay? Just want to share with you guys like what got me into locks, what made me start thinking about locks, what made me actually go forward and get locks, and what is helping me to maintain keeping locks. I hear a lot of people say like, don't get locks, they're gonna ruin your hair, they're gonna, you know, you never could take them out, or you know, they get dry and dingy. And I was actually one of those people that would say all those things. This is tea time too, y'all. I got some tea, so if you want to get some tea to join me, feel free. Before we get into that, let me show you what's in my tea. All right, this is honey ginger crystal tea. They come in packets. I also add a little bit more honey to it. I put cayenne pepper, just a little bit, some turmeric, just a little pinch, and a pinch of rosemary, and a couple splashes of lemon. This has been really like potent for like seasonal allergies or congestion. Just whenever I'm sick, I pretty much make this. I am not currently sick, but because everybody around me is sick, not around me, but I'm hearing a lot of people get sick. I've been just wanting to do some stuff to boost my immune system, so I'm just drinking my tea while I talk to y'all. I have a piece of rosemary in my mouth. Hold on. That's better. I typically let the rosemary seep a little bit in there, but that is my tea concoction. So anyway, my locks. Let's start with when I started getting into locks. So I started even thinking about locks because growing up, I used to always wear braids. Like my mom, in the beginning actually, my mom would braid my hair and then put beads in there. I had a whole head of beads. Like you knew when Jade was coming because I was flopping my beads around. Y'all hear how my mom always kept my hair, basically because my hair is really tightly coiled. So she got tired of detangling it all the time, so she would separate it into braids, put beads on it, and it was really cute. I was like a signature for me at that point. And I didn't know like how much, I'm just now realizing how much like my beads was like tied to me. Like everybody knew Jade was coming with the beads when I was that age, you know? And then as I got older, I kind of ditched the beads thing after a while. Like, it became less beads as I got older. And then it was just beads at the end of my braids. I started doing the add-in hair. And my braids would get longer. And I would put beads at the bottom. And eventually I was just like, oh, I'm done with the little bead stage. You know, I thought I was, you know, grown or whatever. So, I ain't want to have beads no more. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna start doing something different. So I started just wearing my braids, and then I would wear braids in different styles. I would do like half cornrows, individuals in the back, or all individuals, bigger braids, smaller braids, really depending on who was going to do the style for me and whether or not they felt like giving me the style I wanted. So that was braids for me. And then after a while, after I started getting older, and I was like, you know, when I started discovering or learning how to love myself, shall I say, I really went on a journey. Well, let me back up. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. I kind of grew up in a predominantly white area, so that was my identity. And when I realized at a very young age that it wasn't me, I was never going to look like the pretty girl, which was blonde hair, blue-eyed, skinny. Like, I am the complete opposite of that. Always have been. No matter how much, you know, I didn't want to eat at times, I would overwork out, eat one meal a day, all kinds of stuff to just be as small as possible, and I still was the biggest girl. for the longest time. Even bigger than the guys, like bigger hands, bigger feet, everything. Taller until I got to like junior high. I think that's when the boys started to, you know, catch up to my height and then surpass me throughout high school. And but throughout that whole time, I really was just, I didn't feel pretty. I mean, I felt like an ogre, like the worst thing you could possibly tell yourself that you are. I pretty much would tell myself that. And long story short, I got to a place in my life where I was like, you know, either you're gonna love yourself, because you cannot rely on anyone else to do it for you, or you're just gonna hate yourself forever. You might as well just find a ditch and put yourself in it, because you're gonna be so depressed you're not gonna want to do anything with your life just because you don't feel pretty. Like, do I really want to ruin my life over not feeling pretty? Like, just tell yourself you're pretty, and after that, believe it. I mean, it really is that simple. Like, once you say, you know what, I am worthy of looking good, I'm worthy of taking care of myself and feeling my best, and you actually start walking in that, like, we save our money, right? I'm an advocate for saving your money. I'm not the best at saving my money, but I'm an advocate for saving money. But I'm also like, you know what? Get the outfit that you want. Find an outfit on a budget if you need to. There is plenty of stores out here that have some nice clothes. You know, some websites that have nice clothes for cheap. But it's the outfit and the look that you want to, like, become the woman that you want to become. And I feel like that's the stage I'm at right now. And I feel like it started at 25 when I really started to, like, develop my personal relationship with Christ. I always had Christ. Since birth, I always say I came out the womb with Jesus. So, and that's true. But I didn't really know him until I hit 25 and I started seeking for myself, and, you know, it just changed from that point. But, so long story short, that's when I started this self-love journey. And I got to a point where I was just like, you know, one, I'm tired of going to get my hair done. Sitting there for hours getting braids gets really old after like 25 years. I love braids though. I think braids are beautiful. I mean, that's like my favorite style to this day. So far. The locks are really starting to catch up to my love for braids. But so when the locks phase started like really picking up, I was like, you know, I've been feeling this, because like, if I'm in braids all the time anyway, I might as well lock my hair, and then I won't have to wait to get my hair done, or I won't have to do so much more maintenance on it when I have to take the braids out, and then I have to detangle, and then I have to get, you know, whatever. At the time I was doing relaxers. I did stop doing that, but then it was like, now I had to do all this extra prep just for my hair to slick down into the braids so it don't look like a bush coming out my braids, and for your braids to like match. It was a lot. And I was just like, I just am tired of doing this for what? I want to love my natural hair. I want to love everything that's natural about me. And so that's when it started for me. I think I started, well, it's been a year now. A year and 3 months. 2 or 3 months. Can't remember totally. Of locks for me. So about a year ago, I was just like, I'm done. I'm going to make this commitment. And I have to give a shout out to Cole Bailey. Sis is beautiful, okay? And she be rocking, her and her sister be rocking them locks. And I'm just like, yo, I love that they have locks. And they're in Hollywood and they're on stage and they, you know, they doing their thing. They're beautiful, they're sexy, they all that. And like, not that I totally agree with everything that girl does, but I do agree that she is beautiful and she rocks her locks. And she really inspired me to just go for it and just start. But I was scared too, because I knew the ugly stage that we know now, where we don't like to call that the ugly stage, but the, you know, the beginning stage, the baby locks, the infant locks, you know, where they look real skinny. They look, mine did, they looked really skinny. They look just like, oh my God, I felt like the doll off of the Rugrats. I can never remember what her name was. Cynthia, I think it was the doll's name. Like, I felt like Cynthia. Like, it's like, oh my God. This is really self-love, because I cannot care about how I look right now in order to get to a certain place that I want to get to. And I have to have faith that my locks are going to get to this level that I want, that I desire, and I have to start at the beginning stages. And everybody was like, Jade, this is a process. Like, it's going to take a long time. And then there was other people like, Jade, everyone's lock journey is different. Yours could lock up way faster than someone else's. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to kill the noise. I know what I want to do. I'm going to do it. So when I got my infant locks, starter locks or whatever, I think I had to rock them outside for like a week or maybe 2. And then I had caught COVID the first time. And your girl was down for like almost 2 months. So the blessing in disguise when it came to my hair, besides all the terrible feeling of being sick, the blessing in disguise when it came to my hair was the fact that I was inside during my baby lock stage, pretty much my infant lock stage. I was in my room suffering, but my hair was maturing, and I was, when I had strength to do anything, I would just, keep them nice and moist. I make sure they stay separated. Sometimes they try to like mingle together, merge together, because they're young and they're trying to like tighten up, lock or whatever. So I was like just taking a lot of good care of my little infant locks. And then after like 2 months, they started actually thickening up, and they didn't look terrible. Like, I still felt like I didn't look like myself, but I was like, they don't look terrible. So I felt a little bit more comfortable. So I was kind of not lucky to have COVID, but kind of lucky to be inside for 2 months, so I didn't really have to show the world my infant locks. But anyway, nonetheless, I was committed to the process. I was going to be out in the world. That was my plan. But it was just a different situation for me. But after that point, I got real inspired watching them like mature. When I saw my first budding is, when your locks actually start to lock up, they might have little buds coming out of them, like bulges of hair pretty much, while they're locking, or your ends might have little beads on the bottom of them. You can kind of see it on this lock. It's starting to like even out, but this one had like a little bud, I would call it, on the end, whatever. And I was like, oh wow, like they're starting to grow up. Like, it's kind of weird because it's just your hair, but like they have the infant locks and they have the baby locks, and I think they have like kid locks, and then teenage, and then mature, or adult and then mature, something like that. Which that's the timeline I'm going by. So some people kind of skip some of the age groups, but I kept them all because I feel like my hair literally went through all of them. Like right now, I feel like they are coming into their adulthood, but they're still kind of like teenage. Like they 21 right now. Like I still have some loose hair on the ends that are still less just like curls. They're not really locked up. So I think they're like 18, 21 right now. And so it was just like an awesome journey to just like have to love myself through all those stages, and even battling with rejection, not blaming my hair or how I look, or because I changed my look. Everybody knew me with like Jade with the braids. Now going back to my beads being so iconic for me. Oh, my picture fell. I got my new desk in here, y'all, so I got my setup starting. My setup is starting. But anyway, yeah, my braids were really iconic for me, just like the beads. Like everybody was like Jade with the braids. Like, that was my name. That was my nickname for a lot of people. Like they identified me with the braids. And it's kind of funny because people still call me that, even though these are locks. These aren't braids, but they assume that they're braids because that's what I always would have in. And I'm like, actually, these are locks now, But, yeah, so now I just feel like I moved into the next phase of my life hair-wise. So it was like beads first, then it was braids, and now it's locks. And I don't think I'll be taking these out. I don't see myself cutting them out. I really love my locks now. And it's still the journey. Like, there's things about them I don't like still. Like, for instance, my hair grows like a mullet. So the top of my hair grows a lot slower than the bottom of my hair. So the bottom of my hair right now, as you can kind of see, well, it's starting to even out now, so it's kind of hard to see. But if you look back at some of my older pictures, in my highlights on my Instagram, you can see like in the beginning, the back starts to grow a lot longer than the top. And so I had like a mullet thing going on for a little bit. And I was like, oh Lord, I just cannot wait for this to even out. Like, and it's getting there. It's not, I love the layers, the natural layers that I have in my hair. I do love that. But when it's like so dramatically like long and then like a bowl around and then you have long, it was just like, oh, this ain't it. Like, this is not it. And then what really helped though, because when they were straight, I really saw it. Like wearing my locks straight, I really saw the uneven leveling in my hair. But then I discovered doing braid outs. And so that's the thing I've been sticking to right now. Like some people do like the perm rods, they'll do the flexi rods, they'll do the twist, they'll do just do like a twist out on their hair, and all that's great. But for me, I love the braid out. Now this is like an old braid out right now. And this is like after I haven't really, like throughout the week I don't really do much with my hair. I just kind of pineapple it at night, put our scarf on. In the morning I just shake it down, I spray it with my mixture that I made, and then I put some oil on my scalp. I will sometimes do my edges, but I try to give my edges a break throughout the week because I'm just at work, and when I go to work I have to wear a hairnet anyway. So I'm like, why am I doing all this to my hair? I'm at work. Like I'm not trying to be a glamour queen at work. Like, that's just not a thing for me. So, and they look pretty bomb by themselves. So I really don't have to do much to them now, which I'm happy for that. Before I used to try to like pull them up into this little teeny bun that I would make it look like it was a big bun, but you know, it was like an illusion because once I pulled the bun actually out, it was just like a little ponytail. But it was like a thick little ponytail, so I was able to like pin it down into like a little bun looking type thing, or you know, or I would do like the half up, half down, have a little bit of, you know, joins in the front or whatever. I have some pictures on my Instagram of those styles, and they kind of got me through that very short, awkward stage too. But I actually really enjoyed those styles. I kind of try to recreate them now, but I feel like I'm in another in-between stage where it just doesn't look the same to me. So I'm just like, you know what, right now I'm cool with the braid out. And I really love the braid out. And I think it really won't, I love my hair crinkled more than straight. So I think that's something I'm going to keep, like either a loose braid out or like a nice tight braid out, depending, because it depends on how I do the braid out, how it will look when I untwist it. But right now doing like I do about 6 locks in each braid, so, and then I'll just clump them together, so it'll be like 2 in each strand, excuse me. So that kind of works out for me, and then it makes like a decent sized braid. It doesn't it's not too tight. It's just when I unbraid it, it's just like a nice even, perfectly fits the shape of my head, perfectly fits the length of my locks right now, and it's a nice style, and it lasts me for like 2 weeks if I keep pineappling it at night and wrapping it. It lasts me like 2 weeks before I'm just like, all right, it's starting to fall too flat. Let me just saturate each individual section, and I will just rebraid them. And I let them dry overnight. I don't put the underneath a heater or anything like that, because my hair already is like low porosity, so I try not to put no heat in it unless I have like a hot oil treatment going on or anything like that, because I'm not trying to dry out my hair. But heat is actually really good for low porosity too, because it'll help open up your hair follicle, because that's the whole problem. Our hair follicle doesn't open up. So that is the journey for me to get into this point in my locks. I'm also battling with if I'm going to color my hair. I recently lost my father, and you know, that's also been a thing that I'm, you know, he watched me start this journey, but you know, it kind of it's sentimental for me, and I'm like, I want to color my hair, but my dad had a white patch in his hair, and mine is starting to come through. My brother has it, and I believe both of my sisters have it too. And I was the only one that like I didn't think I was gonna get it. I didn't think I was gonna get it. And I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. Of course, when he was here with us, I didn't think much of it. Now I'm just like, now that I'm starting to see it come through, I'm like, oh, that's my daddy's white patch. And I don't really want to color it. So if I do color my hair, I'm going to tell him to not touch that patch. But I'm also afraid, like, will the dye run into it and ruin it? Like, I don't know. But, you know, if I do color my hair, it will be by a professional. I'm not a professional hairstylist, so I don't play when it comes to, like, doing the professional things. Like, even when I get my retwist, some people do it by themselves. That's fantastic. I rather have a professional do mine. I want to make sure them parts is crisp and that's done correctly. I can do my own in between loose retwists, you know, soft retwists is what they call them, just to make sure everything is, you know, not merging together. But for the most part, when I do my, like, sectioning and all that, I wanted somebody back there who knows what they're doing. So that's just me personally. So yeah, so now that I'm here, I hope that if you have any fears about getting locks, for instance, some people say it'll dry your hair out. Not if you take care of it. Not in my experience. I water my locks every day. I have a mister bottle that I mix rose water and distilled water in, and sometimes I'll put some drops of essential oil in there. Usually it's peppermint or lemon. I mean, not lemon, peppermint or lavender. Just like a drop or two of each one, and just to give it like a nice fresh, and lavender and peppermint are actually good for your hair and scalp, so that's why I put them in there. And then the only oil I put in my hair is, so the only oil I put on my hair shaft is jojoba oils. Jojoba oil is the best hair oil for low porosity, in my opinion. It is the one that actually I don't know what it does. It revitalizes my locks, my hair. It always has, even before I had locks. And then any other oil I have is a concoction that I have bought for my scalp. So I have like a growth oil that I use, wild hair growth oil. I actually ordered that off of Instagram. And then I also have a peppermint and rosemary one, and I can't remember the brand of it, but those are the two that I put on my actual scalp, but I don't put them down my hair shaft because it'll just seal up my hair, and my hair already is low porosity. So if you have low porosity hair, putting sealants onto your hair shaft is defeating the purpose. You don't need a sealant. Our hair seals it in. Like when my hair is wet, it takes so long for it to dry because it seals it in. But getting it in, and I have to saturate my hair with warm water for it to get like that. But getting it into my hair, the moisture is the hard part. But the things that open up my hair shaft the best, in my opinion, is rose water mixed with distilled water. And I will eventually try to add in some aloe vera to that. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I have not personally tried it because to me, I'm like, if I find something that works, I want to keep using it until it stops working, and it has not stopped working yet for me. But I'm like, you know, I can experiment. I'm going to get some aloe vera. I'm gonna mix that in there because I heard that's another good, powerful, like, mixture, those three things. So I'm gonna try that eventually, but right now I have not. And it still works wonders. Rose water is like the best thing for locks. Oh my god, if you have locks and don't have rose water, what are you doing? Get your life, for real. So that's what I do, and my locks are never dry. I don't let them dry. I don't like that look. That's another reason why I won't bleach my locks, because to me that makes them look very dry and dull, and I don't like that. If I did color my hair, I would make it a darker brown, or maybe like the tip of my hair is like a dark chocolate or something. But I would not go a light color. That's just my opinion. I don't like the look for me. Because I don't want my hair to look dingy. I don't want the color to fade and make it look just like nasty. I don't, want to do that. Hold on one second, y'all. I gotta plug my phone in because this joint is about to die. Okay, we Gucci. So yeah, that's one thing I can debunk. My locks don't get dry. They're not dry. I don't know, people who they think they don't have to do that. They shouldn't water their locks. I have watered my locks since they were infant stage. So, and my locks still have locked very nicely. But I knew that was going to happen because my hair tightens very fast. So some people have different hair textures. Maybe you have a different routine. But if you have low porosity hair and you have type like 4C curl, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a lock into your hair, and you'll want to moisturize them, because even though our hair is in locks, locks getting thicker pretty much just an accumulation of hair. It's not that your hair gets thicker, the shaft gets any thicker. Like, your hair is still the same hair, and you have to take care of it the same way. So I would never not moisturize my locks. Now, another thing is products. People say you can get a lot of product buildup. I don't use products in my locks, and I've gotten to the point where I don't use any product. Only the oils and my spray, and then the products that I do use would be my shampoo and conditioner. Now, I don't even put a leave-in conditioner in there. I might, let me take that back. I might put a leave-in conditioner sometimes. It's very rare on my ends, just to like make sure they don't overly dry out, because that's the spot that is not close to your scalp anymore. So they're not getting the sweat, they're not getting any of the steam from your scalp anymore. So they are the most vulnerable spots of your hair. But when I spray it every day, they pretty much are good. And then I seal it with my jojoba oil, and I haven't really had any issues with my locks. Now, they aren't like super mature yet, so as the journey goes, my routine might change. But right now, no. And because of that, I don't have barely any product buildup. The only time product goes into my hair is when I get a retwist. And she'll usually use like a natural grease of some mix. But very little, because I don't like stuff in my hair anyway. My scalp doesn't like it. It gets irritated. So I don't like to put anything really in my scalp. So product buildup is not really a thing for me. I will be doing a detox because my hair can get flaky. My scalp can get flaky. And that part I don't like. That part I'll be like, ugh. Like, I feel like I have to constantly clean. And like, I have to get a root rinse. I like to do a root rinse before I actually do a shampoo, because I want to make sure my scalp gets squeaky clean. So there's that. And Head and Shoulders is really good for my scalp too. That's one of my favorite things to use in my scalp. That really helps me. It gives me a good long time before I start getting like dandruff buildups or anything like that. So that's another debunk for me. So, you know, a lot of these myths or a lot of these worries that I went in with, or people were telling me, I'm kind of just like going in with them. I'm learning how to prevent those things from happening, because I had the knowledge going in. So definitely get your knowledge, do your research on your own hair, what your hair needs before locks, because the same thing your hair needs before locks is going to need with locks. You just got to do it a little bit differently. Maybe your routine's going to be a little bit different. But it's going to be the same. Your hair doesn't change. Like, it's still your hair. And you might have to use a little bit more tender love and care, because you have to now get it through a lot of layers of hair. Some people, my locks aren't that thick. Like, they thick. Like, they are beautiful thickness to me. I love them. They're like medium. They're not like too big. And they're not too small, because I didn't want like micro locks. I didn't have time for all that. So I was like, give me my braids pretty much naturally. So that's what I put in my hair. So yeah, guys, any more questions that you guys might have, if you want to ask me, I can give you my opinion. Again, I am not a professional hairstylist, but I can give you my opinion. I've been doing this now for this lock journey for over a year now. So I feel like I got a little bit of the kinks out of this journey. So if you want my advice, feel free to write in the comments or send me a message on Instagram or anything like that. I am more than happy to answer questions and interact with you. Because, you know, I just believe that locks are a self-love journey, and I'm all about that. Like, finding ourselves and loving yourself. I'm not all about idolizing ourselves, because we have to give all glory to God. That's another thing. Like, for me personally, I have a relationship with God, a relationship with Christ. So I give all glory back to God. I'm not here to say we need to exalt ourselves higher than we ought. But I do believe that you have to love yourself in order to be effective in this world and be effective for other people. So the longer I'm on this journey, the more I'm starting to learn a lot of things about myself and about others and about things that help others. So a big thing for women is our hair. Like our hair. And I want everybody to know that locks can be beautiful. Like you can be a baddie with locks. I've seen them. Okay. Look at Cole. Sis is a baddie. Hal. She's a baddie. So locks aren't like, they don't have to be a rugged thing. Nothing wrong with the rugged locks, because I'm here for it. But it don't have to be a rugged thing. They can be very beautiful, like in any way you want them to be. So yeah, and every stage of your locks is a beautiful journey as well. So guys, I believe that's all I'm going to say in this video. I'm getting pretty excited about sharing more things with you guys, sharing more pictures as my locks continue to grow. That's another thing I wanted to share, how I do my retwists. My lady, she usually only retwists my roots. So I don't do the palm rolling. I don't do that in my locks. I think I only had it done once because I had a friend do them and that's how she knew how to do it. So I was like, all right, cool, because I was desperate to have somebody redo it. And it actually turned out really good. It wasn't bad. It looked nice, but I wouldn't keep doing it. I never did it. It was only that one time. But the last time I actually did interlock with the crochet hook. And I must say, I really am enjoying that type of retwist, but I won't constantly do it. I might do it again in a couple of maybe a year, maybe once a year. I might do it and then just do a regular retwist because I don't want it to be tightly locked like this throughout the whole lock. That I don't want. But you know, little sections, and this will like eventually loosen up, but I don't want it to be all the way like down or all the way throughout my new growth like that. I love my thickness in my locks, so I don't want to like restrict them. But I was having an issue where my roots just weren't locking. Like they would just untwist when I washed it or if I wet my hair. And I was like, all right, you know, I'm getting to a point where I think I need to like do like a little something different just so that they can lock up a little bit better. So my lady said, you know, let's do the interlock. She's like, I would not suggest doing it every time, but we can do the interlock, and every once in a while it's not bad. So we're testing that theory out. I figured my locks aren't too long, that if it doesn't work out, I won't be doing too much damage to my locks, and I can just learn how that would look for me. But currently, yes, I am about 2 months in on a interlock retwist, and I must say it lasts a lot longer, and my hair is growing so fast. And I don't know if I just reached that point that everyone talks about. Like, I've heard every person with locks say one day they just woke up and their locks is like down their face, and they're like, I swear it happened overnight. And I feel like I'm starting to say that too, like, hold on, I got all this new growth, like it's a lot of new growth in there, and I'm just like, I just feel like my hair wasn't growing that fast. Which is a beautiful thing. I definitely am excited to see the journey continue and progress. So yes, other than that, y'all, feel free to ask me your questions. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I will be sharing different things on here, open and honest discussions about faith, inspiration, and my locks, and your locks. And I also am into fashion right now, so I'll be sharing some clips or maybe some hauls about that. Anything that kind of just comes to me until I get like a routine. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Love you.